Hey everyone, it's Amy, and today I have in the Light Elegance Spring 2023 collection. This is the Candy Shop collection. So just like the winter collection, I did go ahead and pick up the buttercreams for the colors, and then of course the hard gels for the glitters. So let's get into this. And don't mind my missing nail. I feel like every time I go to film a collection swatch, I'm missing a nail, but it is what it is. I don't have time to fix it, but I will be doing my nails later this week. But let's go ahead and get into these colors. So here's what the buttercreams look like. This first one we're going to start off with is Bonbon. Here's what Bonbon looks like. It is a light baby pink shade. And I can say, at least for starting out with this one, this collection seems way more pigmented and nice and buttery versus I know the winter collection for the buttercreams was kind of an off formula, it seemed like. That was my first time getting a bunch of colors in the buttercreams, but they seemed very translucent, just not the way I was thinking the formula was going to be. So starting out with this one, it is a very good formula there. And this next one is Candy Jar. Here is what Candy Jar looks like. This is a baby blue shade. Next up, we have Lollipop. Here is what Lollipop looks like. Definitely a brighter color. This is a brighter pink. It's not neon, but it's a pretty bright pink. Next, we have Jelly Bean. Here's what Jelly Bean looks like. And when I opened this, it definitely shocked me because the outside is just a cream sticker, and then the shade doesn't even compare at all. But it's definitely like a jelly bean color. It's like a jelly color, and even the formula on this one is different from the cream. I don't know if it's picking up on camera, but it's a lot stickier. It definitely feels like jelly on the brush, but it is a iridescent glitter. I know this is part of the color collection, but it's kind of like a glitter, an iridescent glitter. It's got a pink base, and then it's got pink and blue shimmers in it. This next one is Totally Taffy. Here's what Totally Taffy looks like. It is a pale yellow, kind of a banana color. And the final one from the buttercreams, this one is Minty Fresh. Here is what Minty Fresh looks like. It is a minty pastel green shade, just like what the name says. Okay, moving on to the glitters, and then we'll go back and I'll look at all of them all together. I did want to point out, I just now realized these hard gels normally come with swatch sticks. This one did not. So I don't know if that's just mine or they didn't include them in this collection. I'm pretty sure they included them in the winter one, so that's interesting. I wasn't going to use them anyways because I'm using my stiletto swatches. But for those who like the consistency and have been using their swatch sticks that they give out, that's kind of a bummer. Okay, first glitter we're going to start out with is Pixie Purple. Here's what Pixie Purple looks like. It is a chunky iridescent glitter. It does have a purple base to it. Next up we have Take Two. They're small. Here's what Take Two. They're small looks like. It is an orange iridescent glitter. So it's got an orange jelly base. It's more concentrated than the Pixie Purple base was, but it's still pretty transparent. And then this one has more smaller orange iridescent glitters in it. This one is Yummy Gummy. Here's what Yummy Gummy looks like. It's a little deceiving because it looks pretty full coverage in the pot, but it is another like jelly base to it. Definitely more concentrated than the last two glitters we saw. You can kind of tell in the cap too. But this one is a really pretty blue base with blue iridescent glitters that are way more packed in. I absolutely love this. It is so gorgeous. Next we have Sinfully Sweet. Here's what Sinfully Sweet looks like. We have yet another iridescent glitter. This one has a clear base though, and the iridescent glitters kind of have a lot of different colors. So this one is more of a universal. It could go with any color. This next one is Sugar Drop. Here's what Sugar Drop looks like. It is, again, iridescent glitter. This one's a yellow base with yellow iridescent glitters. I feel like this one looks like it has a different kind of a texture. I can't quite explain it, but I feel like the texture of this one is a little bit different than the other ones we were looking at. And the last one in this collection is Bubblegum Baby. Here's what Bubblegum Baby looks. And it looks like we have a full set of iridescent glitters. This one has a pink jelly base to it with teeny tiny iridescent glitters in a lot of different colors. So let's go ahead, cure all of these, and look at the swatches all together. Okay, so here are what the colors are looking like. We have 4 really nice pastels, a brighter pink, and then we have a jelly. And then here is what our glitters are looking like, all jelly iridescent glitters. So let's do some comparisons and then regroup because I do have some thoughts on this collection. But let's go ahead and do some comparisons. I pulled mostly Light Elegance. I have a few Madame Glam just for reference, but I'm not going to go into too many Madame Glam comparisons for this video. So starting out with Totally Taffy, which is our banana baby yellow shade, I pulled Sunkissed, Bare Canvas, and Yellow Jacket from Light Elegance. And I'm going to go ahead and open them up, line them up. Okay, so here is our lineup. Sunkissed would be the closest, but it's still not a true pastel color like totally taffy. This is a true pastel yellow shade. This one is a tad bit brighter. Bare Canvas was from last year's spring collection, and that collection was a very muddy, toned down collection. So this is more of a nude. It was kind of the yellow in the collection last year. So of course that one doesn't compare. And then Yellow Jacket is way too bright. So this is a new addition to the collection. We don't have a true pastel yellow. And then here is the one from Madame Glam that I did pull. This is Lemon Pie, and this one is the pastel. They did a pastel collection last year that was really pretty in March, I think. And they're similar. I feel like Totally Taffy is a tad bit more yellow or a tad bit brighter in shade, but those are pretty close. Okay, next we have Minty Fresh. I have Under the Shade Tree and You Had Me at Aloe, which I had already compared these ones previously. I actually remembered I have one more. I have Mint Chocolat as well. Okay, I did go ahead and give these ones a stir so we can see the color a little bit better. So for Under the Shade Tree, Minty Fresh, and I don't know if this is pulling up on camera, I think it is. Minty Fresh is more blue than it is green. And then You Had Me at Aloe is definitely a lot more green, and this one has a shimmer to it. Mint Chocolat, same thing, is leaning more green versus Minty Fresh it looks blue compared to the greens. But we have Candy Jar, which is our blue, and Minty Fresh looks green compared to our blue. But compared to our mint lineup, that one leans a little bit on the blue side. And then I did pull I Lime You from Madame Glam, again from that pastel collection. This one, again, leans a lot more green, and this one looks blue. Moving on to Lollipop, which we do have a bunch of corals kind of from them. I only pulled Do the Van Gogh. This was from last year's. Let me go ahead and pull a couple more. Here is Don't Be Such a Pansy. And then here is Let's Get Together. So these ones here are looking really similar, but they are a little bit different. So for Lollipop, it's definitely leaning more towards a true pink, while the rest of these are a little bit on the corally side. So this is Do the Van Gogh, which was part of last year's collection, so it's a little on the muddier side for coral. Don't Be Such a Pansy is a brighter coral shade. And then Let's Get Together is a little bit of a darker shade. So we don't really have like a pink like this from Light Elegance that I could find. They do a lot of like these corals, brighter corals, and reds, but not too many like pinks like this. And then I did pull two from Madame Glam. This one is Candy Pop, which is a little bit lighter, a little more corally. But I feel like so it's a little bit more corally, but it's getting a little bit closer. And then this one's Pajama Party, which is brighter and more coral. So then for Candy Jar, which is our light baby blue, Light Elegance actually didn't have anything that I was finding. Here's Blue Skies Ahead. So other than Blue Skies Ahead, we don't really have another lighter blue. I feel like we don't get too many blues in general from Light Elegance, so again, this one is a nice addition, especially being it's quite different from Blue Skies Ahead. From Madame Glam, I pulled Raindrop, which this one leans slightly purple. And then this one is Blueberry Cream. And those two are spot on. And then for Bonbon, which is our baby pink shade, I wasn't really finding a whole lot of baby pinks in the collection. This one I pulled here is Strawberries and Cream, which is a pearl. And it's a little bit more pink, so it's not quite a baby pink. This one's Dreamsicle, which is, you know, more orange in tone. And then I did pull Takey Easel, but this one definitely leans more nude than a baby pink. So that was a pleasant surprise that we didn't have a baby pink from Light Elegance. So that's a really good addition as well. And then from Madame Glam, of course, I pulled their baby pink. And those are pretty spot on as well. And then we have Jelly Bean. And I have some thoughts on Jelly Bean. We don't really have any colors from the collection that are like this, because this is more of a glitter formula. And then we also have Bubblegum Baby in this same collection from the glitters, which are pretty similar formulas. Jelly Bean is definitely more of a purple base. Bubblegum Baby is a pink base. But for these to be in the same collection, to me, is a bit much. It was kind of an odd choice, in my opinion. And then to compare, we'll just start getting into the glitter comparisons. We're just transitioning with Jelly Bean. Here's Losing My Impatience, which I use this a ton. I believe this made my top list from 2022. Bubblegum Baby is just a brighter version. So here is Bubblegum Baby here. Here is Losing My Impatience. I also feel like the glitter is a little bit more concentrated in the bubblegum. And then this one is Wanna Watercolor from last year, which again, those are close, very close. Bubblegum is definitely a little bit brighter, but once it comes down, because they're sheer, by the time you swatch them all, and they're pretty similar. And then the same with Jelly Bean, if you throw that in there, by the time you swatch it, you lose most of that pink base and you're left with that iridescent color. So to me, we don't need 4 of these. We really, you know, I loved Losing My Impatience. I use this one all the time. I mean, the bubblegum one is a little bit more concentrated in that pink jelly base, but if you apply it thin enough, like you could see, it's more concentrated on the tip and lighter on here. Like, we're gonna get similar effects. So I don't know. That's kind of my thoughts on that, is we didn't really need all of those, especially since, so we had Losing My Impatience from several years ago. This one was just last spring, and then these two in the spring collection. It just too much, so close together. And then for our yellow glitter lineup, we have Sugar Drop, we have Woody, and we have Bad Banana. So Woody here is definitely the odd one out. It leans a little bit more orange, definitely a brighter, more of a sunflower yellow. And then Bad Banana and Lemon Drop, Sugar Drop, sorry, are similar. This one's definitely a neon version. Even if you take a look at that, you could definitely tell it like this is a neon. This is much more subtle. So they're close, but because it's more of a neon versus a pastel, it's like you kind of need both because you're gonna want one or the other. And then Pixie Purple, again, I have a big lineup here. This is that chunky iridescent with the purple base. We have My Masterpiece, which was from last year's collection. This is more of a coral base, but you can see that the glitters are similar. We have A Spot by the Stream, which tone-wise is definitely different. We have purple pink, and then this one's more of a silvery base. And then we do have Very Good, which is a pink base again, but not as concentrated as these. But again, once you swatch them, you lose a lot of that base color anyways. Like looking at Very Good and Pixie Purple, they look fairly similar. And then we're gonna be same thing here with the Sinfully Sweet. We have a pretty similar lineup. This one is Ice Cream, You Scream. Similar, this one looks a tad more blue. This one is Swing by Sweden, which is more white opal. And then this one Sparkles or Sequins, which is more chunky. This one's the odd one out. I was gonna compare it with Pixie Purple as well, because it is that chunky, but it's more in this lineup color-wise. Then for our orange, Take Two, they're small. And then I have Nice Melons. And then we could probably throw Woody into the mix as well. So they are definitely different. Take Two, they're small. It has that jelly base with the iridescent glitter versus these two, which are more of their traditional type of glitter. So that one is different. And then the final one for comparisons is Yummy Gummy, which is our beautiful blue iridescent. I pulled Meet Me by the Blueberries and Pears and Pastries. So you can see these are all different. I thought Meet Me by the Blueberries was going to be a little bit more comparable, but it's really not. Just because it has that matte glitter in it, it gives it a really different effect. And then the blue tones are also different. And then Pears and Pastries is more of a silvery type of a base. Okay, so I went ahead and switched backgrounds so you can see the shades a little bit easier on this white versus my striped background. But here's what the colors and the glitters are looking like together. I definitely have some thoughts on this collection. So I'm going to start with the colors. My initial thought when I saw these colors is it's boring. They're just plain pastels. A baby pink, a baby yellow, a baby blue. We've seen this before. It's boring. But once I pulled the comparisons out, we're actually missing a lot of these colors. We didn't have a baby pink. We didn't have a baby blue. So that kind of changed my mind. Like, these are actually good additions. Now, I'm thinking the reason I was thinking we've seen this before is because of the pastel Madame Glam collection that they had released last year. Those colors are pretty spot on to these ones here. So that's why I was thinking I've seen this before. But as far as Light Elegance goes, this is a new addition. However, they do tend to do this pattern for the spring where we get a bunch of pastels and then we get a bright pink. Let me show you. We do get different iterations of it. So this is last year's, that was like a painting theme, and they were more muddy, they're muddier colors. And so we have like a bunch of muddier colors, and then we have the brighter pink. So of course the muddy colors don't compare, like these are traditional like pastel baby colors, and these are muddier colors. And then the year before from spring, we got more of a brighter set, and then again with a bright coral in it. But as you can see, like this set is a lot brighter than the set that we got this year. I also want to note that the buttercream formula, I believe, is back on track. The winter one was super off. These ones seem completely fine. One coaters, super buttery, good formulation for these buttercreams. Moving on to the glitters. My initial thought for the glitters was I loved the glitters a lot more than I loved the colors. Now looking back at it and again doing the comparisons, we've seen a lot of these. They do a lot of the iridescent glitters, and the fact that the entire glitter collection is iridescence with jelly bases is a little much for me. I really love Light Elegance's traditional like glitter formula. That is just super packed. It's a full coater, full packed of really fine glitter. I really love this formulation. But then if I think about it, again, we generally don't get that for spring. We do get a lot of these jelly bases. So again, this is last year's colors, or last year's glitters for spring. Now we did get, this one had a matte finish, and then this one had a little bit more. It wasn't the full concentrated glitter like we're used to, but it was close to that. And then we got 4 jelly bases. But I wish we had a little bit more variety than just all iridescence in a jelly base. I do love how cohesive this collection is though as a whole. So if you're newer, just starting off with Light Elegance, you're a new nail tech, you're looking for colors to kind of fill in the gaps, this is a really great collection, don't get me wrong. But as far as like a long term, you've been collecting Light Elegance, I think definitely get the colors, the glitters you can pick and choose from. But you guys will have to let me know in the comments down below what you think of this collection. Are you picking it up? And how are you just feeling about the spring colors in general? But I hope this video was helpful, seeing all the comparisons and everything, so that way you can really make your own opinion and pick up the colors that you want. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoy my swatching and comparison videos. Make sure you subscribe to see what looks I come up with using these colors and glitters. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.